Oh, yes, it's an intense year.
Oh, man.
You got
So
that right.
2 have aired, right?
2 episodes have aired, that's right.
Okay, so, because I just watched them, and...
I don't want to be a spoiler, so don't ask too much.
I won't, because I like to keep up in real time. I don't like to get things ahead of time. But, so it's all done. You've already finished.
We actually did it, yeah. We actually did it last spring. We did Sober House following that, too. And this was one of the tougher groups we've treated. There was a lot of people with deep resistances. There were severe addictions. Poor Tom Sizemore, who's just, I don't know if you've ever met Tom, but he's one of the greatest guys when he's sober.
Yeah.
And when he's using, he does some wild stuff.
So Tom Sizemore, who we just saw in that clip, and then it's Mackenzie Phillps.
Mackenzie, and there's been some news about her since we treated her,
right.
of course.
And Heidi Fleiss.
Heidi Fleiss.
And Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, Rodman, who was court-ordered to treatment. I would really bring out the court orders. Go, Dennis, help me understand. You don't want to do this, but you have to, man. I have to write a report to the court saying that you satisfactorily completed treatment.
Right.
I'm not going to do that now.
But he doesn't think he needs to be there.
He does. I actually end up getting some brain scans on him to show him the alcohol-related damage that he has. And he does. I make no mistake about it. He's got a severe problem.
And what kind of damage is that from alcohol? Like memory or denial or what?
Well, in particular, I actually did what's called a SPECT scan, and we showed him the surface of his brain was gone from the injury related, which alcohol does. I mean, alcohol is one of the drugs of abuse. We don't think about it as one of the only drugs of abuse that really is damaging to all human tissue.
So when he sees that, does he then take that in, or does he?
We slowly eroded away. I mean, at no point did he have any kind of an aha moment. I mean, Dennis has got a lot of stuff going on. I mean, and he does. I like Dennis, and I eventually sort of forge a relationship with him. We actually bring his mother in later on in Sober House.
Really?
And she's a wonderful woman, and that has a dramatic impact on him.
Well, I can't wait to see, because right now it looks like he's got no interest in being there or participating or anything.
He really doesn't. And you know what? This has been one of the interesting experiences with all of this. You know, a lot of these folks would not have come to treatment. Their motivation is limited. They want to be on TV and get paid. That's their primary motivation. And yet, in spite of those sort of distorted motivations, once we get them into this environment, we really can make a difference. I mean, Lisa D'Amato was one of our cast members from this year. You didn't mention her. She's from America's Top Model.
That's right. There's a few more that we
haven't mentioned yet, is Lisa. And she really didn't think she had a problem.
Right.
And she was profoundly ambivalent the entire experience. I mean, even towards the end, I thought, I didn't get anywhere. Now she texts me all the time saying, this was the most important experience I ever had. I really see how my disease operates now. So we get through to them.
Yeah, because she said she only drank when it was around, and it wasn't like
she's a kid.
And then Mindy, McCready, who is a country star, and she again thought she didn't have a problem.
And yet this last episode, she has a seizure.
In the middle of talking, she has a seizure, and Mackenzie thinks it's a joke and starts laughing. And so the next episode coming up is you dealing with that seizure she has.
Yes, it is.
And then, we talked about Mackenzie since she has, that show was shot earlier, we have learned that she says that she had a sexual relationship with her father, and that was what she probably whispered to you that you cut out of the show.
She did. She pulled me aside and said, I'm not prepared to talk about this just yet, but you need to know this about my history. And I must tell you that in the world of opiate addicts, particularly heroin addicts, and particularly long-term heroin addicts like Mackenzie, I mean, Mackenzie is a wonderful woman. She's having a really wonderful sobriety right now, but she's a hardcore junkie, for many, many years. And when you see stuff like that, there's usually some kind of very severe childhood trauma, and sexual abuse is very common. The perpetrators are commonly family members, and so and her perception of it being consensual was really a perception, because, the fact is, a child who gets himself in that situation, they get so spun, so distorted, all the motivations get completely distorted.
Yeah, I feel bad for her, because a lot of people are they don't believe her, and it's just a horrible situation.
Let me look right down the barrel and say, there's absolutely no doubt this is a true story. I mean, this is the kind of thing I listen to all the time. It fits completely with Mackenzie's story. I know Mackenzie. She is a very truthful person. She wouldn't be sober all this time. She's been sober almost 2 years now. She would not have any possibility without rigorous honesty. She wanted to be seen for who she is, not just, she's just that drug addict. She wants her full story to be understood.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I feel sorry for someone who has is finally brave enough to come out and say something and then to not be believed.
It breaks my heart, frankly.
Yeah, me too. And we asked some audience members if they had any questions, and one question was, what do you think about the recent deaths of like Casey Johnson, Brittany Murphy, people that are that young to...
Yeah, I mean, look, whenever you hear in the press that a young person is hospitalized for dehydration or suddenly dropped dead of natural causes, young people don't die of natural causes. So you always, I don't know these two people, their cases, but you always have to wonder about addiction. That's what takes out young people. And right now we are in this epidemic of the abuse of pharmaceutical medications, and it is taking out my patients, it's taking out celebrities. These are serious, life-threatening conditions, and we have to take them as such. So please, when you hear about people struggling, understand it's a very painful and dangerous condition that we're sometimes sitting in disdain and judgment of. But it's a serious business.
And do you think because celebrities are surrounded by people who aren't going to confront them and say, you're looking like a fool, or they're supporting that, is it harder to get to a celebrity and say, you've got a problem?
It's exactly right. It's why they sort of spiral out of control so far. They have power, they have money, and they have people who aren't willing to risk their access to the celebrity by actually standing up for the person.
Right.
And going, look, you need to, this is enough.
Right.
And that person says, get out of my life. No one's willing to risk that around a celebrity.
Right.
And so they progress to a much greater degree, and their lives are endangered by that.
Right.
I mean, Anna Nicole died because she moved and kept people around her that allowed her to perpetuate her disease.
Well, and I think the press kind of, you know, we watched, a lot of people watched it and thinking it was interesting, fascinating to watch someone fall apart instead of saying, you know, this is not okay to watch.
This is a young... I don't know if we can get away with people not watching it. You know, people just are fascinated by drama, and addicts create drama. But you need to understand what you're watching. You're not watching somebody who is having a good time. You're watching it, and you need to evaluate yourself. It's really about us. You know, we sit in envy and disdain. We need to develop empathy and really say prayers for these people, and then move on. Don't sit in fascination and continue to consume this. You know what I mean? It's a little bit, I understand people are just fascinated by that stuff, but to really spend our time with magazines and tabloids and whatnot, that's not so good.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you have advice for people that may know someone in their life right now that is having a problem that are there in denial?
For sure. You know, the thing I tell people about addiction is if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. I liken it to, remember the musical Little Shop of Horrors? The Audrey 2, the big plant that eats everybody? Well, that's addiction. You walk in the room with the plant, it takes you in, which is why I, for instance, never go in a room alone with an addict. I always have somebody with me to pull me back out of the plant in case I start getting sucked in. So you need that too. You need this program called Al-Anon, which is another 12-step program for people that are involved with people with addiction. So you have that lifeline, that cord, and you can grow while your loved one is growing, hopefully. And if they don't, you can disengage with love, not disengage in anger or disengage in resentment. You disengage and you gain support and you stop dancing. You stop dancing with the disease because you are part of the problem when you're not part of the solution.
Thank you so much.